Okay, so I added, so for the thesis, made it very clear we decided to focus on war's inherent ability to bring people together, to fight and work toward a common goal. And then the conclusion, we're going to try to throw a little flourish. We might include, we might not include it. It just depends on what we decide on as far as the quotes. So bringing people together, war, um, is what we need to focus on. So A, L, so let's just do A, L, L, B, P, and then WC. All right. So this is alliteration. Strongest U, truer than steel. It's a metaphor. We're not using metaphors. Plus, it's not that strong. She sprang live limbs. Live limbs. And that's a very, those are dynamic words, right? Like if someone's lithe, it means they're, good at gymnastics and bouncing around the mat. And then she sprang, so it sort of immediately places Manhattan um, into active mode, as if that's her, her, normal state of being. So we can really play with that. Lithe limbs, she sprang. Active mode, which implies war is an active sort of exercise and all that stuff. So I think we can make that reach. And remember, this is all provisional. So if we don't like a paragraph, we can delete it. If we think a point's not too strong, we can delete it. But I really want to walk you through exactly the thought process and exactly how I start from scratch to get to a finished essay. So she gave the cue. It's personification, but it's not that strong of an argument. There's not a lot of meat there. You want to have a meaty quote that you can just mention 2, 3, 4 things about. And you might only get to 2 of them, but you've got a lot there. Threw off the costumes a piece. So we can actually, I like this because through, right? Through is a dynamic word. As if the city is, springing into action. So we're going to focus on the action, bringing people together. War's inherent, right? I'm going to say collectively and actively to fight and work toward a common goal. Because it's active, like the city is active. And the city is springing into action. The city's people are springing into action. I thought we were going to start writing, but I remembered that we've got to omit a lot of these. How you led the war, bring people together, led to the war. It is the title. So this is word choice. Led to the war. Line break. Manhattan drum taps led. It's sort of celebrating the drum taps. And then 40 years as a pageant. We definitely don't want to bring up more quotes in the conclusion. So if we don't use this, there's a reason. So let's put that in parentheses. Because if we can't argue that that doesn't bring people together in terms of war, I guess you could say for 40 years it was peace, but it was just a show. 40 years peace. Because if we can show the pageant, then we can describe it. Just a show. I'm not going to use this. Incensed. It's personification. It's anger, and I don't really want to argue that the city gets angry. Actually, I think that perhaps the most interesting part of this essay, interesting trait, is that it's just very celebratory, and it's very excited about war, essentially bringing people together. So that's what I want to focus on. And we can even number these. So we could say number 1. So this is like a for sure. We're for sure going to put this in. Let's call this number 2. Let's make that a different color. We can make it like, blue. So let's make this, yeah. How you led the war. That could be 2. I don't think that's necessarily. I know it might become it might become 1, but let's just make it 2 right now. And this is like 3. All right, and this is 1. And that's going to be line break and word choice, where they said leapt they, puts verb in front. They share the word leapt. Which shows connectedness between people. And then arming. And then also, leaving. That's the line break. They share the word leaving. So leaving shows up on the same line. So that just emphasizes. Okay, so that's going to be 1. So then even boys, the old men. So we can sort of put these all together in the same paragraph. So that's 1. And then the red business, word choice. And then unlimbered few times. Gets lighter because no more ammo. But also it's literally means cannons getting rid of ammo. So there's 2. Unlimited just means in general getting rid of something that's holding you down. Getting rid of something that's holding you down. E.g., peace is holding you down. Stasis, right, is holding you down, just like doing nothing. And then the red business. Red business. Unemotional and clinical way to describe horrors of war. And we're not worried about spelling right now. And let's call this number 1. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. Omi in parade now. The armed race. The armed race is advancing. Again, word choice. You know what? I think that's a lot. I don't think that conclusion I don't think we have enough time. Yeah, I don't think that we should argue that. Just so this is going to be just a straightforward conclusion. We have so much meat here. That would be a separate essay, or that would be like a 15-page essay. This is all about actively fighting and working toward a common goal. It's about bringing them together. So, lithe limbs, and she sprang. So, same letters and sounds. Introduce the people. Sharing the same goals and work in terms of war. So there's sort of to presage or to predict the connectedness between these people and their goals, etc. All right, so that's huge. So it's all about the goals. So that's going to be, we're going to use that. If we can argue that they're being brought together, so the costumes of peace. Let's parenthesize that because you probably won't have time for that. He led the war. Songs of soldiers, drum taps led. Yeah, we could argue it, but it's a lot. We have plenty. Okay, so let's do, this is another one. Poured out its myriads. From the houses, workshops, doorways, leapt they arming. And it says arming a lot of times. That's line breaks. Leapt they. So the verb leapt in front. So they share the word leapt. You know, and it's emphasized. It's you know, the action is emphasized. So this goes back to us collectively and actively. So collection and action, collective and active. All right, so here again, all these people arming and all leaving, and they leave at the same time because that word leaving is on its own line. Yeah, this is plenty. This is plenty. I think that we got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the word choice to describe, you know, different generations teaming up. Tearful parting, word choice, line breaks, personification, alliteration. I don't think you saw. I think it's the word choice for here. I guess it's imagery, but we're not gonna argue imagery because that's a lot. That's a lot. Saying word choice and imagery, it's like these 5 different things. I think 4 is plenty. I think 4 is like kind of pushing it. Might be smarter to cut it down to like 2 or something, but this is still fine. And then the word choice. Word choice. Business. Business. As if these people are teaming up for something like a, you know, collaborative, you know, business transaction, etc. So again, it all has to do with teaming up and unlimbered, bright as gold, yeah, and then bright as gold. It's very effusive and optimistic, celebrating war by the speaker. Celebration of war by the speaker. All right, so determined arming, No Mere Parade now, so let's make this parentheses. We could mention these. I know there are a lot of students that do this really effectively, and they're able to weave a lot more quotes. With me, I like to cherry pick the quotes a little bit better, a little bit more rather, because I'm not going to say better, but I like to cherry pick the quotes and then really spend a lot of time unpacking and explicating, and then go to the next one. If it's just a throwaway quote or just a quote that we're just going to mention as an aside or just like run over real quick, I don't know. Different students can pull that off, I think, a lot better than perhaps I can. I'm more interested in unpacking a few well-placed and well-picked quotes. The double entendre of advancing, which has to do with the word choice. And then also that that's the other one, unlimbered. Double entendre. And this is just, this is just picking the quotes. The work for giants. And it's always nice to pick the conclusion, if you can. If it supports your thesis, it's always nice. It's right there. It's structured. You could say the last line of the poem. You could. I like chronology, and I also like being able to use the last line or the last lines. It just helps a lot with being able to wrap everything up. So let's see. So word choice for giants implies that the people are giants by teaming up to assist with war effort. And then now not frowning as children, as your children, going to war and now smiling with joy. So that's again word choice. I don't see much in terms of alliteration. Maybe I shouldn't use alliteration because we only use it once. Don't use it that much. Cannon's bread is gold. This is tricky. Yeah, you know what? If we can delete an entire... Yeah, it's tough. That was a really good argument. But if you just don't have enough room, you have to know, like, how long your essay is. You have to keep that in mind. And you don't want to be too unwieldy. I know I love that word, but it really comes in handy a lot. So line breaks, personification, and word choice. It's just a little bit simpler, and we don't have to worry about costumes of war or... Yeah, this seems about 4 to 7 pages. So let's count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 6 paragraphs, about half a page per paragraph. You're looking at 3 pages plus an intro plus a conclusion. So you're looking at 4 pages. But a lot of times it gets longer. It's a lot longer than you might think. So I think that's 4, probably going to be closer to 5. But when we have room, if we want to add more, add more of these quotes, we have them there, and we can. But this is really important because it structures everything. You're sort of planning it all out in your brain. You're writing it all out. And then if you need to add another paragraph, you need to add another page or half a page or delete a half a page or a page. It's so much easier because you've built it from scratch, from the ground up. And then so okay, let me just pull this out, you know, it's not going to take so much more, because even though this looks kind of sloppy, this is pretty organized. Like, we're, in terms of our thesis and our quotes and all of that, it's relatively organized. So let's just use these quotes. I think it's going to be about 4 pages. I'd love to make it about 5 or 6, but you know, maybe we'll add 1 or 2 more quotes. But we have to make sure that it matches with the thesis, and then we'll see where we're at. But I think 4 is fine. But yeah, we'll see where we're at. Until the next video, guys. Thanks a lot.